here's what we know. God is a witness to how we treat our spouse. So much so that Scripture says that even if we have something between us and our spouse that interferes with our prayer life, God is a witness to how you treat your spouse. He was there at your wedding when you made your vows. He was in the midst of that. He is a witness to how you honor your vows throughout the rest of your marriage. Right? God is a witness to that. Now, in verse 16 of Malachi chapter 2, many translations translate that, which is a good God hates divorce. God hates divorce. Now, we use the word. That's what we know for sure about divorce. God hates it, right? Why does God hate it? Well, we got to go back to the purpose of marriage. The purpose of marriage, week 1. You go back and listen to that. So God hates it. Why does he hate it? Now, we use words very flippantly, very casually. We use love casually. I love football, man. I love hunting. I love my truck. I love pizza. I love peanut butter pie. I really love peanut butter pie. I love, we use it flippantly, right? Man, I hate some things too, right? I'm not fond of Nick Saban. I'm not going to say hate. Kids say, I hate school. I hate this. We use those words casually. God never uses a word casually. And God says, I hate in Scripture. And every time he says, I hate, and when he says I hate, it's referring to his enemies. So when God talks about divorce, he says, divorce is my enemy. Why is divorce my enemy? Divorce is my enemy because it desecrates the purpose of marriage that I created. It desecrates it. It completely makes a mockery of marriage because marriage is meant to be permanent, because marriage is a picture. It's not about you. It is a picture of my relationship with the church. And so therefore, I hate it, God says. Now, what happened is the Pharisees in the New Testament, what they did is they come up to Jesus in Matthew. They come up to Jesus and they were always trying to trap Jesus. And in Jesus' day, there were two schools of thought predominantly in the Pharisaical, rabbinical world about divorce. Rabbi Hillel taught that you could get a divorce for anything, for any reason if you were a man. A woman had no rights in that world. And so if a man got married and all of a sudden thought, man, that bridesmaid's hotter than you, he could divorce his wife and go with the bridesmaid. I mean, if she burned his toast, who wants a woman that's going to burn your toast? Dump her, go get another one, right? I mean, that was how silly it was. But then there was a Rabbi Shammai. He said, no. He was much more conservative. And so the Pharisees, they leaned on him. They come up to Jesus, and they tried to trap him. They tried to come up with questions. No matter what he answers, we got him. We got half these people mad at him, right? And so they come up to Jesus and said, Moses gave us a certificate of divorce. He allowed us to divorce our wives. What do you think, Jesus? They were trying to trap him. They really didn't want to know. And Jesus answered, Matthew 19, you can go look. Jesus answered and said, well, Moses allowed you to divorce your wife because your hearts are hard, which stung them. Whoa, that was not God's intention. So Moses allowed you to divorce your wife and give a certificate of divorce because your heart was hard. But Jesus said, he goes back and quotes Genesis 2, what God has joined together, let no man separate. Jesus said it's your hard hearts is the reason you get a divorce, and it's not God's will. That's what he said. So his disciples were sitting back hearing this in Matthew 19, and his disciples said, whoa, Jesus, you mean your view of marriage is that big? And his disciples said, if your view of marriage is that big, why would anybody get married if it's that big a deal? And you had expected Jesus to go, oh, guys, I mean, come on, marriage is cool and it's good. Yeah, you should get married. But Jesus didn't do that. He basically said, bingo, you got it. You picked up what I put down. And he's not saying they shouldn't get married. What he's saying is you should never enter into it lightly because there is no back door. There is no eject button. So you make sure before you dive into this thing that it is the right type person, that they're a Christian, that yada, yada, yada. So Jesus said, take it very, very seriously because this is very serious stuff.